Hey everybody, Kevin Cochran here from Enriched Academy. I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch another one of our videos. Over the last 15 years, I've had the opportunity to speak in front of over 100,000 Canadians, helping them, build long-lasting wealth, and it's just been such a great experience. And something that a lot of you watching right now may not know about myself, but I didn't really grow up with any money. I grew up in a lower middle-class family. I had loving parents, which is more than anybody could ever ask for, but we just didn't have a lot of money. And the older that I got, though, as I got into my business career, I was fortunate enough to start doing well financially. And as I got older, I ended up having a family of my own. And I have 3 children. I have a 12-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old. And one of my biggest concerns is that the fact that we're a family that has means, I wanted to be sure that I didn't raise children that are entitled, and I was very, very concerned about that. So it was interesting. What I did is I went out and interviewed a lot of parents that I have a lot of respect for, that has means, and they ended up raising really, really great children. I wanted to find out, how do they do it? Like, what was their secret? Because people say you learn from your mistakes. That's the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life. Why would you learn from your mistakes when you can learn from somebody else's? And it's interesting, if you're watching this video right now, regardless if you have money or not, one thing when I realized when it comes to children, it's not the things that you buy that has a long-lasting effect on them, especially when it comes to their memory. It's the experiences you provide. And here's some of the ideas. I wish I could take full credit for them, but I can't, because they're not my ideas, even though I implement them, and the feedback has always been amazing with the kids. And here's some of the ideas that I got from the parents that I interviewed, and I just loved it. One of the things that you can do that costs next to nothing if you want to create a great experience. I do this about twice a year with my kids. You put them to bed on a Saturday night, let's say around 9 o'clock, and about 20 minutes later, after the lights are off, you come into their room, you turn on the lights, you're like, hey, what are you guys doing? And I promise you, the kids get up there, what's wrong? And I always say, put your clothes on, get in the car, and we're going to McDonald's and we're getting ice cream. And I'm telling you, on the drive there, we'll turn the music up real loud, have just a great time. And honestly, your kids will think they just won a trip to Disney. They're like, what? I remember my one son, the first time I did that, he was like 5 years old, and he was running around out of bed, and he didn't know what to do, and he was like, oh my gosh, and he's trying to put his clothes on. I swear my son actually peed his pants. He was that excited. It was that cool. And we're talking for a $2 ice cream, right? It's such a cool experience, right? And it's interesting because my kids had a sleepover a few months later, and the kids that were sleeping over, they're like, are we going to McDonald's tonight for ice cream? So a $2 ice cream that you buy at McDonald's has a long-lasting memory. And the cool thing is, I'm pretty sure that if you do that for your kids, they're going to do that for their kids, because they're going to remember, they're like, that's what my mom and dad used to do for me. So that's one idea. Something else, which is just another great idea, if you don't have a large vacation budget, go out in the middle of the winter. I live in Toronto, or just north of Toronto, so it can get really cold here. And you know what, if you can't afford to go away somewhere during March break, just go rent a hotel room, anywhere, or a hotel and that has a pool. And you can do that for 130 bucks. A lot of pools have water slides. And again, man, one thing I learned about kids, especially when they're younger, all they care about is water. You put them in some water, you know what, they're going to have a great, great time, right? It may not be flying somewhere exotic, but for 130 bucks a night, you can get a hotel, and the kids love it. They bring all their, sleeping bag and their toys, and they just have a great time. So that's another thing you can do on a really, really strict budget. For 130 bucks, will leave a long-lasting memory for your kids. And one of the last things that you can do, and this is really simple, and I still do this with my kids, is you just have a tent out in your living room. You can go buy a tent at Canadian Tire for 70 bucks or Walmart, and you just tent out in your living room, and it's a lot of fun, man. Your kids they just love a change of routine. And that's really what kids want. And these are just some ideas that you can do, regardless if you have a ton of money or not. But I'll tell you, these are long-lasting memories that'll last longer than any toy that you can ever buy for your kids. I promise you that. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I just want to share some of the ideas that really worked for me. And again, I wish I could take full credit, but I can't. But I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. And again, Kevin Cochran from Enriched Academy. We'll talk to you real soon.